there is a big thing that's going to happen in London at this G20, and then they're hiding it, they're camouflaging it, they're not talking about it. Coordination of international regulation. What they are going to do is to put our Fed and our SEC under the control, in effect, of the IMF.
Oh, come on.
You
believe they'll do this?
That's what was in the draft agenda. They call it coordination of regulation. What it really is putting the American economy under international regulation. Yeah. And those people who have been yelling, oh, the UN's going to take over global
conspiracy
government.
Theorists.
They've been crazy, but now they're right.
Yeah, well, when Geithner said he would be open to the idea of a global currency last week,
yeah.
Those conspiracy people had said and suggested that for years. Right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And you know, it's what they always do at these conferences is they have the center show is here, and the side show they don't want you to pay attention to. Right. The center show is the size of the stimulus packages. Yeah. The real show is international regulation of the financial institutions, which is going to happen under the IMF control.
All right, we're going to have this segment and one more with your phone calls for Bob Chapman on the economy. I should have just had him on today about what's happening in the economy, but we got off into some other issues that are very important. Before we go to your calls, Josh, Jasper, John, and Nicolette, I should have time for at least those four. I want to tell you about one of the sponsors that's made today's show possible, Diginet.net. Diginet.net. They have a whole line of very inexpensive but high-quality hidden cameras, like a little pen that can record up to 2 hours of video and audio on it. Great to clandestinely film these corrupt government people or police or whoever needs to be surveilled. To protect yourself, they have an in-car system of hidden cameras that goes to a different digital cards, records hours. Very affordable, very inexpensive. Check them out at Diginet.net. That's D-I-G-A-net, Diginet.net. Or give them a call, 888-344-6681, 888-344-6681, Diginet.net. Just fabulous, super high-quality equipment. Very, very easy to use. Everybody should have at least the PIN system, and it plugs right into your USB port. Bob, let's go to calls. Josh in Canada. Josh, you're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead.
Hello, sirs. Thank you for your courageous work that you guys do, and everyone really appreciates it. Two quick questions with regards to the economy. Yesterday, the governor of the Bank of Canada declared the recession over here in Canada, despite the neocons putting us $50 billion into deficit, and we don't know who owns that debt or how it will be paid back.
Well, they declared 3 years ago that we weren't in a recession when Bob and others were saying we officially were. Now they've told us over and over again the recession's over when we're really in a depression. What's your question?
The question was that he's saying that there will be an eventual return to historically higher interest rate levels, despite the fact that in 38 our national bank was nationalized to get away from the international bankers, but in 74 we joined the G7, and that took the World Bank and IMF and the Federal Reserve then took control of.
Yeah, you're totally run by the bankers, just like we are. I appreciate your call. Bob Chapman, when we look at the economic numbers, unemployment skyrocketing, joblessness, construction, manufacturing's all down, 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 and they're now telling us that we're going to have a jobless recovery. What type of Orwellian term is that?
Exactly that, Orwellian, and it's going on in Canada and every place else, and of course they fudge their figures just like everybody else does, and so it's going to continue to deteriorate, and they're going to continue to lie about having recovery. I mean, you're seeing corporate earnings that are better than what was anticipated. That's because they're laying everybody off.
Absolutely. They're using this to vertically integrate, to radically consolidate, and to give huge profits to themselves. Plus, they're flush with tens of trillions in bailout money they leveraged. And that's why Ben Bernanke yesterday in testimony was saying inflation is going to hit. And so that'll be another tax on us. Back in 70 seconds with the fourth hour. Dahr Jamail joining us from Martha, Texas. He's a reporter that's been in Iraq, been in Lebanon, been everywhere. He'll tell you what's really going on in the Middle East. Have the troops really pulled out of Iraq? The answer, of course, is no. Another sad fraud. That's coming up. We'll continue to have open phones as well. Right now, Let's go back to calls for Bob Chapman of the internationalforecaster.com. Jasper in Boston. Quick question or comment for Bob Chapman. Go ahead. He dropped off. Okay. Let's go to John in Ohio. Quick question or comment for our guest.
Well, it's not exactly quick, but Alex, I think you're on the cutting edge of really opposing these global fascists, and I'm glad to hear that at least some of the time, as Bob Chapman said, they're not communists, they're not socialists of any kind. They're the exact opposite. They're corporatist fascists. But
they're using the socialist commie model. Look, I met a lady on the street yesterday wearing a red star on her shirt who really liked my show and thought we were battling the capitalists. And I tried to explain to her that the bankers want to socialize things so they can steal the money. And she just couldn't understand it like you can't, John.
Well, you can constantly say that and set up straw men, but would you have somebody on that can explain exactly what a socialist believes in rather than only the liars and the distorters?
Well, all I know is all I see the bankers doing is funding socialists. But, I mean, do you have a question for Bob?
Well, I'd like to point out that, as I say, and I was just the other night at my city council meeting opposing the vaccination and the fluoride in our water.
Good.
But and I agree with about 60% of what you're saying. But I think you've got your feet in both camps with your anti-communism in a false definition, and at the same time you've got your other foot in the austerity camp of the globalist corporatist fascists in this libertarian so-called call for slashing and gutting and looting what little social programs were given as a kind of a pacifier.
But the pacifier, the bankers get 95%, then their minions get 5%, and they use their minions as a weapon against what's left of the middle class. Look, John, I got to let you go because we're short on time. Bob, can you explain to him what's going on here?
Not in the time frame we have, but I think I can say this. I have spent since 1964 trying to bring the left and the right together, irrespective of their differences. We're all Americans. We want to win. We want to beat the bankers. So let's get together, and we'll sort everything out later. Let's get the real enemy.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, people spend so much time attacking me and analyzing me as if I'm the New World Order, when obviously my fruits are good. I'm waking people up, getting them to think, getting them involved. We're in a desperate situation, Bob. We all got to pull together against the bankers.
Exactly. And, boy, it's been a long time coming, but it's cycled over the last 5 to 8 years. And my heart goes out to all of the people of different philosophical, intellectual, and political insights. Let's just get together, get the job done, and, if one city wants to be socialist, let them do it. I mean, if that's what they want.
Yeah, as long as it's done under the state's rights system. That's a good point. You can have your socialist city, and we'll see how many people want to live there.
Well, the truth of the pudding is in the tasting, but that will have to come after we defeat our present visual enemy.
Well said. Bob Chapman, internationalforecaster.com. Folks can get a free copy. Comes out on Saturdays, twice a week, but Saturday is the next date tomorrow, so go there, check it out. We also post some of the great articles written by Bob Chapman. Bob Chapman, always great having you on with us. See you next week.
Thank you very much, and I'll be there. Bye-bye.
All right, God bless you. Take care. I know we've got Nicolette and Jan and Chad. We'll get to you. Dahr Jamail is coming up. Just got a new book out. Talk about brave. This guy goes all over to these battlefields worldwide, and he's right back here where he was born and raised in Texas. So he'll be reporting to us on what he's witnessed in Lebanon, in Iraq, all over the world on the other side. He wrote an article I saw a few weeks ago exposing Obama's bait and switch. The troops aren't leaving Iraq. They shifted some into Afghanistan and Pakistan. We'll break all that down on the other side. My website's Infowars.com. And we're simulcasting at prisonplanet.tv.